This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, can you hear me?
This
First,
conference will now
before
be
going to the
recorded.
yes, okay. So before going to the S4 development, just first we'll try to compare that how we are developing applications using our traditional system like ECC 6.0, okay, and what are the changes happening in application development by involving like too many technologies like UFI, Fiori, HANA database, and like okay. So we'll try to see that evolution of the programming model, okay, from traditional development to a new development, okay, and then where HANA actually taking a use place, okay, what kind of logic we can rewrite using the HANA database syntaxes, okay, that we'll see one by one, okay. So first we'll discuss about the programming model, okay, how we are developing application using existing programming model and how we are going to do in a future model, okay. So first let me introduce the first traditional programming model. Okay. So generally, if you're thinking about any program, okay, this is basically contained in three areas, right? Screen, so web logic and DB logic. Okay, not DB logic, you can say that processing logic, okay, DB logic. So any program, maybe it is a report or it is a modular program. Just basically we're taking two kinds of applications right now. Okay, one is reports. Okay, next one is modular program. Okay, report means basically for the summarized information. Okay, whereas modular program were for the data entry programs, right? So in the reports, what we'll be having? We'll be having the selection screen, okay, through which user can enter the input, and then some kind of validation will perform, and then intensive DB query, whatever the data we need to get from the various tables, we'll do it. And then once we retrieve the data into the various internal tables, start processing it, right? We'll process the data and then finally display it. So this is whatever the report will take, generally this kind of thing will be there. Okay. And coming to the module pool program, so we have the, instead of the selection screen, we'll have the normal screen, right? So we'll be doing it in a screen painter, correct? So here we have the many screens. Okay, so that means in each and every screens we are going to place several input fields over there. Okay, and then validations against the input data. Okay, and then DB queries is not much intensive. Generally, we'll try to determine some more values, so determine other values and some kind of calculations. Okay, some kind of calculations we'll do. Okay, calculations, and we'll then finally navigation. So from which screen to which screen we need to navigation determination, like which screen we need to navigate, and then finally update to the database, update to DB. Okay, so this is the design of the module pool program. Let's say, for example, we are going to create one program for creating a sales order. Okay, so for that we will create the one or many screens. For each and every screen, we are going to keep some particular input fields. Okay, user will enter, and some fields is a read-only mode. So that what will happen if you enter a customer number, it will determine the customer name. It will be displaying on the screen. Okay, that kind of thing also there, right? And once we're filling the header data, next we need to fill the item data. We might have placed the item data in another screen. In this time, what we need to do? We need to navigate from screen 1 to screen 2. Okay, that kind of logic also conditionally will put it, right? Using call screen or set screen or leave to screen or whatever it may be. And then all the validations are done, maybe determinations are done. Then finally, we need to update to the database tables. That can be either function module or writing some OpenSQL like modify or insert or update function module. That is secondary. But ultimately, so this is the overall logic we'll be doing. Okay. Now the question comes. Okay, either a report or module. Okay, just assume that we'll take the report. Okay. So now, if you're building the GUI report, okay, that means once we develop the report, we are able to run it from the GUI. So then how we are doing? First one is selection screen, right? How we are designing the selection screen? Simply some statements like parameter and selection option, right? Using some above commands. Correct? And next processing, validation logic, maybe whether initial or not initial or greater than 0 or less than 0, date is older or higher. That kind of thing, we're simply using the FF logic. Okay, so at that processing, we have the certain statement through which you can do using control structures, if conditions and everything, right? And finally, DB logic. So earlier, we used to have only one option to build the DB logic, that is nothing but OpenSQL, a set of commands through which we can interact with the database. So it could be select, or it could be insert, or it could be update, or it could be delete. Even sometimes we have the cursors as well. Okay, these are the set of commands only we're able to build it. Okay, so this is the traditional GUI report. We're able to do it. Maybe we may assume that we can use the function model, but inside the function model also same commands. Okay, select commands only, right? Ultimately, at one point we need to interact with the database where we need to write select commands. Okay, OpenSQL commands, not select commands, OpenSQL commands. Okay, so this is the one. Now, just we'll see the small difference here. The same report, I don't want to run from the GUI. I want to run from the browser. Okay, so that means how we need to design. So instead of designing the screen in using ABAP commands, I need to go with WebInfo. Okay, WebInfo. So in this time, what will happen? My screen, I will design using the HTML layout. Okay, I will create one WebInfo component where I will design my screen. Okay, so using some dragging or drop the controls. Okay, what are the controls? Like input fields, we have check boxes, we have the radio button groups, right? We have the drop down boxes, we have the list boxes, we have the table control over there. Like so many controls are available in the WebInfo. Okay, so I will design the screen. Now between ABAP. Okay, so here in how to interact with this HTML is there is some framework based thing that is called as a context node. Okay, through the context node, we can receive the data from the UI or we can send the data to the UI. Okay, that is happening to the context node. Okay, and once we read the data to your actual location, then we can use the other command to validate. Okay, so again here other commands. Okay, so context node actually an intermediate area between your screen and your actual other object. Okay, so in this way we can do that. And coming to this one again, OpenSQL. Okay, now you can see that where is the change? The change is screen designing and linking to the backend logic. So these two locations change happens. Okay, now we'll go to the little bit advanced now. Okay, so instead of going with the SAP traditional web control technology, just we can go with the UEFI or PI. Just assume that. Okay, so we are not at all talking about the backend logic. We are talking about only screen changes. Okay, in this time, we'll be designing our screens using UEFI theory libraries. Okay, so we have various libraries that is sap.mm, sap.m, or sap.ui.table. Like that, we have so many libraries so that we can create our UI elements on the screen. Okay, so I can make it like this. UEFI libraries. Now, how it can access the backend logic? That is the problem, right? So UEFI libraries cannot directly invoke any other thing. Okay. In between, it needs one area that is called as a service area. Okay. So for that one, what we need to do, we need to create an additional topic that is called as a OData service, or maybe JPO service, or something else. Okay, these are the two examples only, but we have so many things. Okay, the libraries can access any data. Okay, so that means this one is actually dealing with the OData service. OData service is the intermediate layer. It will move the data to and from. Okay, and coming to the backend, same back commands. Okay, like processing and everything, and interaction with the database. Open SQL. Okay, so now we can see the evaluation in the screen design. Okay, based on the screen design, why we are doing this one? It is giving the flexibility that GUI application can be run on only GUI. Okay, WebDevelopment can be run on the GUI as well as the browser. And for UEFI, we can run on the browser and mobile devices, and rendering is very good. Look and feel very good comparatively this one. Okay, so this is the evaluation in the screen level. Based on the screen design, we need to add some extra thing also in our developments. Okay, so any queries on this? Any queries till now? Any queries? Yeah, okay, okay then. Okay, so now we'll see the backend logic differences, DB logic. Okay, so let me copy this same. Okay, so here I don't want to mind about the screen. I would like to see only DB logic. Okay, so earlier we used to work with the OpenSQL statement. Okay, but we'll be having one more flexibility that is called as a native SQL as well. Right? So at that time, okay, it is calling it, I'm calling it the before HANA. Before HANA. So native SQL means we are working on the Oracle database, or you might be working on SQL Server, okay, or DB2, okay, server or DB2, like that. Okay, any database we can take. Okay, every database having its own set of syntaxes for the SQL statements. Okay, so I'm not explaining about what are the different kinds of SQL statements like DDL, DML, DCL, but basically every database having its own syntaxes. Okay, but generally select command is common for every database, but inside how we are writing select from into where. Okay, this can be altered a little bit different from database to database. Okay, now so OpenSQL is a generic syntaxes it is having. Okay, whereas native SQL having the specific syntax. Okay, specific syntaxes here. Now, if we want to invoke a native SQL statement, we need to enclose, okay, your native SQL command like this. Command and like this. So if in an OpenSQL command, we can directly write. Okay, native SQL, we need to write like this. OpenSQL, directly we can give SQL command. Okay, so SQL command can be a select command or insert or modify, delete, whatever it may be. Okay, so this is the approach. This is the old system. Okay, before HANA it happened. Okay, and once HANA has been there in for our system infrastructure. Okay, so after what are the major changes happened? Okay, so once we have HANA database, then we have the flexibility that we can also write our own logic on the database. Okay, so first let me introduce before developing, before changing in ABAP level development. Let me give you that what we can on the HANA, what we can do on the HANA. Okay, HANA database. What kind of developments we can do? Okay, yes. So on top of HANA, we will basically run the native HANA developments and ABAP on HANA developments. Okay, what are the comes under the native? Okay, let me give you that. So native HANA. Okay, so we having that SQL scripting with the basic programming language, HANA modeling. This is the second one, and third one is okay, HANA access development. Okay, so these are the three kinds of developments we can do on top of the HANA directly without having SA. Okay, so for that, okay, so let me give you that. Okay, this is my HANA database. Okay, and this is my ABAP system. This is my SAP. Okay. Generally, all the programs are available on this particular system. Okay. Yes. Okay. So in this particular layer, so we have the programs, we have the function modules, we have the classes. Okay. So even we have the one portion that is called as a data dictionary, a small portion that is actually tightly integrating into the backend database. This is my database. This is my database. Okay, in this my particular system, a component that is called as a dictionary. Dictionary like this. Okay, so this particular area will be dealing with the backend database. Okay, so when we writing some OpenSQL statement, okay, so that OpenSQL statement will be dealing with the dictionary first. Okay, if the object is available over here, it will interact. Okay, if you are writing the native SQL statement, then it will not through the dictionary, it will directly deal with the database. Okay, we have the two kinds of interaction. Okay, this is the native SQL area, native SQL. This is the OpenSQL validation. Okay, OpenSQL. Okay, so here we'll be doing now how we are doing our development. We'll be having the SAP editor. Okay, let's assume that this is my SAP editor through which it will be connected to my SAP system. Okay. Okay, so through which I can, so basically it is SC38 or whatever it may be, just I'm not dealing with the T codes, but it is an editor. Okay, through which I can write the programs, program create, okay, edit or delete, even execute. Okay, SAP editor. Even classes, same thing. You want to create, edit, and delete, and execute. Even we can execute for testing purpose, right? Function modules and all other objects. Other objects. Okay. So this is we can call as a workbench transaction. We are not only having single one. Let me give you that. Okay. So workbench transaction codes. Transaction codes. Okay. So this is the earlier tools SAP provided to work with the SAP for the developers. Okay. But coming to the latest one, what they're doing, they're giving the SAP system access to some third-party development environment so that we can do our development from third-party tools as well, right? So that is one of the thing is Eclipse. Okay. So this is my Eclipse. Okay. So Eclipse. So with this particular Eclipse, we can also interact with SAP system. From here also, I can do all the activities. So whatever I'm doing here, the same thing I can do here. Okay. In this time, we no need to have SAP GUI in your laptop or desktop. Okay. We need to install Eclipse. Okay. Through which we connect to the backend SAP system, and we can do your development and your testing also. Okay. How the business user is working or executing the reports, it doesn't matter. Okay, he might be having the SAP GUI through which he can execute. That's not a problem for us. Okay, but how the developers are doing activities. Okay, this is the one. Now coming to here. Okay, till now we don't have direct access to database. After HANA, we'll be having the access to the database, so that here also either Eclipse or HANA Studio or Eclipse. So we can connect to the backend database as well as we can do the development. Okay, so we can connect to the database where we can do our development. Okay, so either SQL scripting will be writing. Okay, scripting we can do it. Okay, or HANA modeling we can do. HANA access development we can do. Okay, all the activities we can do. So that objects repository here. Okay, that means earlier database contained only the dictionary of only the database tables. So right now we'll be having some program objects as well. Okay, so let me. Okay, so now tables and repository objects as well. Repository object means like these are the scripting objects, modeling objects, or whatever it may be. Earlier we used to have only tables only. Okay, tables and some other system related information. Right now we can also do some development so that objects can be created here. Okay. Now the question is, can we call this particular object from the FF or not? Okay, that we'll see. That we'll see one. Okay. Right now this is the area. Okay. After the HANA, we are able to do some development in the DB level, not in the SAP level. Okay, we can do. Now we'll see that what is the purpose of this one. Okay, so first SQL scripting. Okay, so SQL scripting is a semi-programming language or something. It is not having that much of luxury. It's a programming language. Okay, so here we have the like some artifacts, basic artifacts or building blocks, like maybe we can declare the variables. Okay, and we can write control structures like if statements. Okay, so we can do if statements, loop statement, for statement, and everything. We have the exceptions. Okay, we have the exceptions, and we have the anyhow SQL statements. Anyhow, we can use SQL statements like this. Okay, so it is a programming language. It contains some building blocks, like we can declare the variables or table variables. Okay, we can use the control structures. We can use write the exceptions, and we can do the SQL statements. Okay. So even in table crossing also it is there. Okay. Now these are the building blocks, and what are the procedural blocks here? Procedural blocks. Okay, these are the, we can call it as a basic building blocks. Building blocks. Okay. And based on that one, how we are going to design your reusable blocks. Okay. So we have the modelization in SAP, right? We can create the function models, we can create the classes for reusable purpose. Okay. Similarly, what are the things available over here? Okay. So that is called as procedure, functions, triggers. Okay, these are the things. Okay, procedure, function, and triggers. Okay, procedure is basically for the updation purpose. Okay, update tables. Okay, and functions for reading the data and processing, reading purpose. And the triggers is basically for the change log. Okay, we have a change log in SAP, right? CDH.CDPOS. Okay, so for that one, we'll be creating some SCDO change object. We'll be adding that page. Later, it is generating some function modules. We'll call some function modules in one of the transactions. Okay, you want to update the change documents. But here we have the directly we can write the trigger on top of the table so that whenever certain change happen on the table, it will automatically do other activity. Okay, so these are the procedural blocks. Okay, so this is about the SQL scripting. Okay, so we can do these many things. Next one is HANA modeling. Okay, HANA modeling. Okay, so this is another area. This is basically for the reporting purpose. Okay, reporting purpose. Okay, so we have the graphical tool where we are going to drag and drop several nodes. There are certain links over there through which we can design a report so that that report can be directly consumed by the reporting tools. Okay, so that means in this time what will happen? This is my database. Okay, this is my database, and I will use any reporting tool. There is no SAP in between. Okay, there is no SAP. It is these are my reporting tools. Reporting. So what are the different? Maybe as Excel. Okay, MS Excel is one reporting tool, right? SAP Lumira, SAP Vivo. Okay, maybe Tableau, maybe ClickView. Okay, like this. Whatever the reporting tools will having, that can directly invoke this model objects. Okay, like this. Okay. So there is no intermediate system. Okay. Earlier, what is the reporting development? So first we database, on top of it we have the BW system, on top of it we have the best query and something else, right? We'll be having the certain reporting. So now right now we don't need to have any intermediate layer. One is database and second one is the reporting tool. Okay, we can directly connect to the backend database. Okay, without involving the intermediate system. Okay, that is the one. So here basically we have the model like attribute views, okay, analytic views, and calculation view. But out of three, only calculation view we need to develop because the rest of the tool are up to date. Okay, attribute view and analytic view we are not supposed to utilize. Only calculation view we are using. Okay. So this is also will be doing at the HANA database level. There is no SAP interaction. Okay. And third one, HANA Access development. Okay. So here HANA reporting means this is for the bulk data. Okay, and it will generate reports using some diagram also, pie chart, bar chart, and everything. Okay, it will read the use data and will process and will display. Okay, and coming to the HANA Access development. HANA Access development. Okay, here it's like a displaying the transaction data instead of a bulk data. I would like to say specific data. So in this time we'll be using this one. Okay, here what we'll be doing. Okay, so UFI components available. The UFI components. And for interacting with the data, we have the HANA Access or data services. Okay, and backend is SQL scripting. Okay, through which we are able to build an end-to-end application in HANA database level without using other logic. Okay, so here this is for screen design. Okay, this is for service layer, and this is actually DB logic plus application logic. Okay, now you can see that. Okay, this is also one kind of development where we have a backend database. Okay, and directly a consumer. Consumer can be a browser or query launchpad or whatever it may be. Okay, consumer. Okay, it could be a browser. It will actually generate one URL browser or maybe directly query launchpad or something. Okay, through which we can directly access that. Like this. Okay, this is okay. These are the developments we can directly do it in a database without connecting to the SAP system. Okay, so these three areas we can calling it as a native SQL. Okay, we are calling it as a native SQL. Okay, sorry, native HANA development. Okay, so this is the one. So any queries on this? Any queries on this native development? Hello, hello. Hi, can you hear me?
No queries. Yeah, no queries from my end.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So now we'll see about ABAP HANA. Okay, what is ABAP HANA? Okay. So now we are writing our parsing logic, right? We are writing select queries to interact with the database. It is dealing time, taking long time, and we have in the once we read the data, we need to process the huge data and everything, right? So instead of doing everything in the ABAP layer, we need to do something at the DB layer. Okay. So let me give you one example before explaining the concept. Okay. So our example is let me take that calculate total sales values of all customers for a given country. Okay, this is a small example. We need to develop one report. Okay, here what is the input? Input is country. Okay, output is total sales value. Okay, this is the requirement. Only single country's input and single value's output. But how we are building the logic? We'll see that. Okay, first. Okay, for the given country, we need to get all the customers. Okay, so logic one. Point one here. Get all the customers for a given country. Okay, here what we need to do? So we need to query the KNA1 table. Okay, for this one, input is country and output is output is list of customers, right? Customers. Okay, and next one. Okay, get all sales order details. Okay, amount, sales order detail or sales order amount for customers. Okay, in this time table is VBAK, input is list of customers. Okay, and output is going to be list of sales order amount. Okay, so in this time, and third one is calculate total value by looping all the costs. Looping or what are the activity you want to do? Okay, looping on the orders. Okay, this is not a database interaction. This is simply a web logic only. Okay, this is DB table. Okay, logic is DB logic. Here it is also DB logic, and this is a web logic. Okay, so like this, just assume that. So in this time, how the program being executed? Okay, so let me take this one. Okay, this is my ABAP. Okay, ABAP layer during the program execution. Okay, and this is my database. ABAP layer, and this is my DB layer. Okay, so here we have this first one. Okay, get customers. Then what will happen? There is an interaction between the database, so that control will go from here to here. We have the KNA1 table. Okay, it will pull the data, it will return back. Okay, correct. This is step one. Next one is get orders. Okay, and the control again going one more time to the database. right? So here it is a VBAK table, and third one is calculate total. Okay, once done, it will control goes to out of the SAP. It will be displayed on this one. Now just assume that in this particular small program, we are interacting the database with 2 times. Okay, and that is a number of times. Number of times interacting with DB. Okay, and how much data transfer. Okay, and how many times program executed per day. Times program executed per day by all users. Okay, these are the things we need to take into consideration. Okay, so first one is number of time executed for a single execution is 2. Okay, how much data transfer? Okay, let's assume that they have given one country where around 10,000 customers. Okay, 10,000 customers, maybe 10,000 customer details approximately maybe 1 GB. Let's assume that. Okay, I'm taking that 10K customers data is going to be 1 GB. Okay, and number of sales orders. Okay. Number of sales order for all the years for these 10K customers, the data is going to be around maybe purchase order. It's going to be 10 or 5 GB. Let us assume that. Okay, this is just assumption. Actually, it may not be exact figures. Okay, for a single run, how much data being transferred? 6 GB. Okay, for one single transaction, it is transferring around 6 GB data from the back end to front end. Okay, so actually physically ABAP layer and the DB are different systems, right? So definitely it should consume the net, right? So it has to transfer data from here to here. Okay, one application is consuming this much of bandwidth, then what about the other applications? Okay, that are also has to run, right? So now here the question is, for example, this particular report being executed by these several users. Okay, maybe 10 users they're using, and for each day they might be running 10 times. Okay, that means for a complete day they're going to write execute in 100 times. Okay, then total bandwidth taken by this program is 100 into 6. 600 GB is transferring here and there and here. Okay, so let's assume that generally SC16N. Okay, how frequently we are using SC16N? Okay, sometimes we'll be giving input, sometimes we'll not be giving that. Simply we're executing, and if you're not able to see any required data, we'll keep clicking on back button and we're executing again, right? So we don't count the number of times we're executing SC16N, right? Similarly, some kind of reports working like that by the users. Okay, they will simply run and go back and execute again and execute it like that. So that it will take a lot of time in the back end. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, so now instead of doing this one, okay, okay, so the same program, okay, this is my ABAP layer with SQL program. With SQL programming, so what we can do, this is my HANA ABAP layer. Okay, this is my daily layer. Okay, so here try to write logic here. Okay, so here get customers. I need to write some procedure block over here. Get orders, process orders. Okay, so this is a one procedure block. It could be maybe function or procedure, whatever it could be. That is secondary how we are implementing, but this is the approach. Okay, now in my ABAP program, I'm having only 2 things. Okay, input, okay, on backend procedure block, okay, and display result. Okay, okay, input, call backend, and out. Yeah, that means it will be calling the backend service only one time. Okay, and similarly, now you can see that. Okay, so how many times we are moving to the backend? So we are passing a country. It can be approximately 1 KB, and total sales value it can be maybe 10 KB, maybe 10 millions, 20 millions, 2 billions, like that. Let's assume that. Okay, so how much data being transferred? Around 11 KB between the application layer and database layer, DB layer. So this is another layer, 1 KB. Here it is a 10 KB. Let us do the maximum. So even they are running for 100 times per day. Approximately how much KBs? 60 into 100, 6,000 KB only. Okay. So this is about like we need to move some piece of data from our ABAP layer to DB layer with some technique. That is we are calling as a code push down. Okay, we are calling as a code push down. Somehow we need to rewrite our logic in the DB layer. Okay, so for this one we have the two techniques. One is native SQL, next one is ABAP HANA. Native HANA and ABAP HANA. Okay, that is secondly what we are doing. Okay, back on HANA. These are the two techniques we'll be having. Okay, so now where is the change? Because of the HANA database, we need to do some kind of developments in the HANA level also. Okay. So now we'll see that what are the different things available. Okay, native HANA already we have seen how to build the objects, but how to call we have not seen, right? So I have created one model in the HANA database, but how to call from ABAP? There is no, we didn't see that. And we created a procedure, but how to call from ABAP? We didn't see. Okay, so anyhow, we'll see that one. Okay. So in this time, okay, in the native HANA level, okay, so I might have created database procedure. Okay, maybe HANA model. Okay, these are the things actually we can call from the ABAP, but not directly, but indirectly. Okay, from ABAP. Okay, so object in ABAP layer. Okay, from ABAP means nothing but from your program. Okay, from ABAP program or function model or something. Okay, program or FM or class, whatever it may be. Okay, so we cannot directly call the procedure. So in this time we need to create one more object that is called as database procedure proxy. We need to create one extra object to link between procedure and backend. So call the DBP. Okay, database procedure proxy. And coming to the HANA model, we need to create one additional thing called external view. Okay, so now our external view. Okay, but what is a procedure proxy is nothing but DBP is nothing but one class method. That's it. Okay, and what is external view? External view is nothing but one dictionary. That's it. Okay, so how to consume this one? Using for method, consume via call method. Here consume via select statement. Select a star from that database. That's it. Okay, here, but these are obsolete. We should not use this one. Okay, database level we can create the procedure and model, but we should not consume with this one. Okay, this is obsolete. This is obsolete area. Strike. Okay, this is obsolete area. Now what happened? Okay, create here too. Okay, now we'll be having the ABAP HANA. Okay, ABAP HANA. Okay, for the flexibility of the ABAP HANA. Okay, in this time, instead of creating the objects in HANA database level, we'll be creating objects here only. Okay, CDS view. We'll create CDS view. so that it will create a object in the DB level automatically. Okay, either it could be a view or it could be a database function. Okay, create a function here. Okay, and if you're creating the AMDP, okay, so it will create the procedure. Okay, and how we are going to consume it, I will write in a reverse direction. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so AMDP is nothing but, okay, AMDP is nothing but method. AMDP is nothing but method of a class. Okay, and CDS is nothing but one dictionary view. Dictionary. Okay, and we need to call this one call CDS view, and here call AMDP in your program. Okay, so in this time, how it is happening, how the creation happening. So consumption, there is no doubt in this particular direction. So since we are creating first CDS view, that will be created in the underlying database. So in this time, we don't need to have the access to the backend database. Okay, we'll be doing everything in the ABAP layer only. It will be updated in the backend. Okay, now you can see that like this. Okay, if you make some changes to the CDS view, that will be reflected in the backend database. Okay, and how we are going to consume, same, consume via select query, and here consume via call method. That's it. Okay, this is about the ABAP HANA development. Okay, after HANA, these are the major changes. Okay, through which we are able to achieve the code push down, so that lot of logic will be executed in the backend instead of in the ABAP layer, so that the data transfer between the ABAP layer and DB layer reduces drastically. Okay, so now let me pull up. So initially we designed one area, right? Yes, here. Okay, so before HANA we'll be having only this one. After HANA, so what we'll be having, CDS view, okay, and AMDP here. Okay, so that lot of logic from the ABAP will be moving to the backend. Okay, we need to call the appropriate blocks. Okay, so this is about the development after the HANA. Okay, so any queries, any queries. So we no need to think about the screen. This is altogether different. Okay, this is not scope of our training. Okay, this is the scope from our end. Okay, S4HANA development. Theory will, it is altogether separate. Okay, after HANA, what happened will be seen. Okay, how ABAP being changed. Okay, and this is our scope. Okay, any queries?
Hi Raju,
Yeah.
Brahma here.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, please.
In HANA Access development, if you can do all Fiori and then processing logic and then DB statements, everything, then what is the purpose of this UEFI Fiori again?
No, HANA Access is also needs to utilize the UEFI theory. UEFI theory is a separate one. That libraries have been given to HANA database. They maintain the repository of them. Okay, HANA is not having UEFI capabilities, but SAP had like inserted a couple of UEFI libraries over there. That's it. Okay, it is not a HANA capability; it's a UEFI capability only. Screen design that making it available at the DB level.
Okay, let's assume in a different way. Okay, now you don't have many libraries in the Access development level. That is why you are going for the UEFI. Perfect.
No,
now there is
not
one more thing, OData services.
Yeah, maybe let me
For
give
that
you one
OData services, like again we need the application.
Yeah, let me give you one example first. Okay, SQL scripting not having huge capabilities, what ABAP is having. Okay, ABAP, it is not only for an end-to-end application, but also it can interact with other systems, right, using remote function modules, right? It can generate the XML files, and it can do the sending mails. It can work with the workflows, and it can do it like downloading the files. Like so many capabilities ABAP is having. Okay, but HANA database is only expert at database logic, and rest of the things are only for additional things. That's it. Okay, SQL scripting or HANA database not having much capabilities of what ABAP is having. ABAP is ultimate. Okay, and now coming here, ALV reports. Okay, SQL scripting we cannot create report. Okay, but SAP is having, because we have the ALV function model, ALV some kind of repositories, APIs, right, through which we can generate the reports. Okay, and with a simple statement we can create the screens, but SQL scripting cannot create any screen on its own. It is taking the help of the UEFI or Fiori to generate one screen. Okay, ABAP is very strong, but the rest of the things are supporting to it. Okay, to be able to do certain activities. Okay, it is not at all replacement. Okay, we have several limitations in the HANA database to build an end-to-end application. Okay, it will be suitable for only few applications. We can go with the access applications. Okay, it will not do all the activities. Okay, now you can ask. Now you can ask your question. Now we'll try to answer it in the approach ones.
Okay, basically for the simple applications, you can directly go ahead and then do the development in HANA Access development itself. But
Right,
if you have something complex, then you will have to go with the other.
ABAP only, obviously.
Isn't it, Raj?
Hello. Hello, your voice is breaking. Could you please repeat?
Okay, like basically for simple developments, you can go ahead with the HANA Access developments, and then for complex ones, you'll have to go with the normal
Yes.
ABAP.
Yeah, that is one area. That's your correct. And second one is maybe any third-party softwares like maybe not Oracle, like any third-party ERP products or something using the HANA database. Okay, there is no SAP, but they procure the HANA database. They're running their own programs like Java or Python or something. So in this time also they can build end-to-end applications, right? In HANA database, simple applications without using intermediate layer. In that case, because HANA is not only for SAP, right? They can also sell it for other vendors as well, other customers. How we are procuring Oracle, how we are procuring SQL scripting to our SAP. Similarly, respective systems, they can procure HANA database, right? So they can build end-to-end application in HANA DB level itself. Okay. But generally, SAP side, they have not fully interested in access development because they have very big repositories already built over the years and kept on this repository area, right? We have so many custom programs, we have so many enhancements in the standard. All of a sudden, they will not move any actual programs to the SQL scripting. They want to optimize, that's it. Okay. So instead of using so many self queries, they may ask us to create one AMDP or a couple of CDS views to optimize the program process. Okay, but they won't ask that directly create an access development or something else. Okay, to redesign the application, because we can see that if you take one program, it contains hundreds or thousands conditions. Okay, they cannot replace all of sudden. Okay, that is a very big problem for the businesses. Okay, generally they will not do much. Okay, maybe you can take the financial reports or you may take the MRP relevant things, right? In this kind, very complex things, right? Maybe simple applications they will be using, like a list of purchase orders or list of sales orders, maybe pending orders, maybe due orders, like whatever. That kind of simple activities they will do. But for the bigger objects, see a complex object, they will never go with that replacement. Okay.
Okay, Raju.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, any more queries? Any?
Raju Ram here.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is okay, but can we also look into the course overview which we are going to cover during this session?
Which one? Which one?
So what are all the topics we are going to cover?
Okay. Okay. Just wondering. Okay. Yeah. So basically, first we'll be seeing that. Let me give you. So first we'll be starting with like how to work with the HANA Studio. Okay. And Eclipse. Both are one and other same. Okay. And next one is we'll starting with the SQL commands. Okay, SQL commands and followed by the SQL scripting. Okay, so SQL commands basically how we are working with the DML commands like DQL, query language, and DDL, and DCL commands. Okay, what are the syntaxes in the native SQL? Okay, first we'll see that. Later we'll be seeing the scripting, like what are the procedures, how to create it, and what are the functions, how to do it, and triggers. Okay, so this we'll see. Once done with this one, next we'll see that HANA modeling. Okay, we'll do it one or two examples only. We're not much stressed because we'll be mostly looking at the ABAP HANA. Okay, and then we're followed by the CDS views and AMDPs. Okay, this is ABAP HANA concept. Okay, so the prerequisite for AMDP is nothing but a scripting. Okay, so for this one, prerequisite is scripting, SQL commands. Okay, so once done, okay, next we will see that SALV IDE. Okay, this is a like ALV APIs we have, right? Reuse ALV function, reuse ALV grid display, and the CLGUI ALV grid display. We have the classes, right? CLSALV table. So for HANA database specific, SAP provided one more ALV APIs, okay, through which it can optimize some performance kind of stuff while displaying the reports on the bigger tables. Okay, so that will be seen, and then followed by the ADBC. This is called as ABAP database connectivity. Database connectivity. Okay, this is basically for native SQL from ABAP. Okay, so earlier we used to have EXEC and EXEC, right? Instead of that one, we'll be having the classes here. Okay, CL SQL connection, CL SQL statement, CL SQL result. Okay, so by using those kind of things, we can directly invoke the DB objects. Okay, so that is we'll see, and then some frameworks. Okay, so we are not cover much, but we'll see that how it is working. So how the BOPF is working and how the BRF is working. Okay, these are the framework papers. Okay, so these are the topics we are going to see, and maybe more or less you guys are already aware of the other some of the latest syntaxes. Okay, some new syntaxes. You guys might be already aware of that one. Okay, these are the topics we are going to see throughout our sessions. Okay, this is integrated data.
Raju, Ramana here.
Yeah, yes, Ramana. Yes, yes.
If you are okay, like, can we ask few more topics?
Yeah, yes, please.
As we are into ECC right now, so we wanted to migrate it to S4 HANA, most of the systems. So
Okay.
can we see like one custom code migration from ECC to S4 HANA? How the custom code will adapt in the S4 HANA, and then what are the tools we are going to use it, like SQLT and all?
Yeah, maybe. So not upgraded activities, but that is called as actually hanatization. We generally call outside hanatization. Okay, that means how the whole logic can be rewritten in the HANA specific technologies. Okay, like how to, what area we can identify and write a CDS view, and what area we can identify write a AMDP, like that. Okay, that kind of things we'll do. Apart from the example, maybe we'll take some report. Okay, how to convert into HANA relevant logic. Okay, at what areas we can identify, and update activities are
correct,
different,
like
right?
in our
Yeah, yes, please.
correct.
Yeah,
So like in our systems, like in ECC, like we have developed many enhancements and then custom reports, many things. So
yeah,
now we
right.
wanted to bring all of them to S4 HANA.
Okay,
So
okay.
now we wanted to identify which of the statements are like having a problems, and then which of them are like fit into the HANA and all. So which are fit into the HANA, we don't need to do anything. Which are not fit into the HANA, we need to rewrite the code. So now we
Yeah,
wanted
right.
to identify all of the statements together, like so
Yeah,
those
we'll
things,
try to
like
do.
which is basically custom code adaptation.
Yeah, actually, for syntaxes, one is replacing the just this time, right? Replacing obsolete statement. That is one activity we'll be doing, right? Generally, during the migration, obsolete syntaxes. Okay. Next one is improving the logic. improving the performance. These are the two different things, right? So replacing the obsolete syntax is actually SAP provided a list of obsolete statements for every release. Okay, we can simply see the documentation, we can replace. So here, this is the topic, improving the performance by using the HANA related technologies, right? By using HANA related objects. Maybe we'll try to see this area. Okay. So obsolete syntaxes, we can simply see that like if you type it in Google, right, ABAP release specific changes, they will give the list of obsolete statements. Okay, table statement should not use, internal table apply we should not use, subroutines we should not use, right? Subroutines also obsolete in Esperanto. We should not use form and form. Okay, so like that they have given so many things, right? So that we can see through the documentation. Then we'll go through once, okay, so that we'll get some idea on that. Okay, and this particular area we'll try to select. Maybe we can identify some complex statements and we'll try to replace with the HANA relevant techniques. Okay.
Okay,
Like
and
some
one more
more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ramna.
Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, yes, please.
So we want to also understand like how this OData services can be created and consumed, right? So that is also be getting covered.
What data service you want or what is the response?
Yeah, OData service, how like maybe based on a CDS views or calculation views, whatever. So how we are going to create a OData service and how we are going to get it consumed. Maybe we are not expecting to develop an application completely in SAP UI5, but we want to see how it is being consumed with some examples.
So you guys are already aware of the OData service?
Yeah, we have certain UI5 apps and we are already using the OData service, but that is from R3 side. So we wanted to know how it is happening on HANA.
Oh, okay then. The integration with the CDS, right? So how to directly build and where we need to change and everything. I think how many ways actually you guys have tried. Okay, so end-to-end and by FM, by search help, okay, and by CDS, by other OData service. You guys tried this one on? Okay. So end-to-end actually scratch development. So every DPC XT class will be implementing the get entity, set get entity, and everything we are writing out of. Okay. Inside we might be calling the function module. Maybe inside we are writing the select query. That is different. But we are writing every logic. By FM, we don't need to write single line of logic, right? Simply we are using it so that it will map accordingly. We'll do the mapping here. So this is one approach. I think you might have tried this one. And search help also. Search help already we can simply map it so that it will execute the actual logic. We don't need to write single line of logic. And by CDS, again it has in two ways. One is using the reference, in this time no logic. Okay. So maybe let me put that. No logic. So here no logic, yes, and here also no logic. And here we have the two things used inside infill. Okay, end to end generally we need to write like this. Search and also generally we know go here like we are writing the select query inside one get entity set method. Okay, select the star from CDS view like that we'll be writing. Okay, even without using the logic also we can generate, right? So this is also approach. No need to write single line of logic. And other OData service, no logic because already it is implemented in some other OData service. Let's assume that we have a customer OData service. We are building the sales order OData service. Okay. In this time, we want to pull some customer data as well in our OData service. Okay. So instead of writing the logic for the customer as well in our OData service, simply reuse the existing one so that it will call that one whenever it is needed. Okay. So here also no data. Maybe inside also we can replace. Okay. So like this, we have these many flavors, right, in OData service. So you guys tried all these or maybe couple of things. So these
No, not all this. Okay.
Yeah, this is integration. We can call it the integration between the BOPF and OData. This is integration between other OData services. It is not integration. Reusability. This is called as reusability. How we are calling one function model in another function model like that. Okay, this is integration. Like this. These two are integration areas, CDS and BOPF. Okay, it's not integration, we can call it. It is a reusability only. This is also reusability. Okay, so we'll see this one. Okay, by CDS, maybe if time permits, we'll try to create some simple OData service, use these many flavors. Okay, so that you will get understand. Maybe during one requirement coming, then we will decide that okay, how to proceed further, whether I want to implement end to end or do I need to reuse any existing like that. Okay, you will get some clarity on that.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, any more queries or additions?
Like Raju, one more thing, like so we have different connections, right, in HANA, like primary database connections and then secondary database connections.
That is actually sidecar scenario.
So like we deal with a huge volume.
Okay.
Because like we deal with huge volumes in our company.
Okay.
As we are into warehouse, so we have huge data in our system. So sometimes like our queries has to be executed in a separate secondary database connections. So like by using CDS or something.
Is your system is running on HANA database or secondary additional database?
And it's running on HANA database, and then in production they have to install the secondary database also.
Secondary database is also.
Yes, it is the secondary database connection also.
Okay, have you ever seen DBA cockpit transaction code?
Yes, but like
yes.
correct.
Yeah, okay. Generally, this particular system is running on only one database. Okay. Okay. So generally, this particular system running on only one database. So if your secondary database is also there, then we are going to have one more connection over here. Okay. If you click on that, okay, they will create name over here. Okay. So maybe some secondary database, right? They will give that reporting system like that. They will give something. Now, how to use that particular secondary connection is in the select statement. We have one more that is what we can call that class is there, right? Select connection from into like this. Okay, already we have the existing select statement. Select this from into where. Okay, apart from that, we have one more class that is connection. Okay, and that connection statement we need to provide this name. Okay, right now it is a default, so that without giving connection class also it will run. When we are giving the specific name, so that it will go and check in the DBA cockpit and it will try to find which database it has to connect. Okay, so like that we can do that. So there is no much thing over here for sidecar scenario. Let me give you that. Okay, so if your SAP system having two databases, this is DB1 and this is DB2. Okay, let's assume that VBA table is available here. Maybe for some purpose they have created here also. Okay, if I'm writing select start from VBAK some into table some LD underscore VBAK. So here I mention nothing. Okay, and one more thing, select connection. Okay, I can write secondary like this VBAK into table LT underscore VBAK. Okay. If you write logic, it will query this one. If you write logic, it will query this particular database. That's it. Okay, there is no extra thing we'll do. Only a SQL statement we have to change. The rest of the things remain common.
Can we write this? Can we write this select statement into the SQL script also? The same type of thing.
No, in SQL scripting, we are directly going to the DB level, right? That means we are the DB object here itself. Okay, we are directly already into the database table. So this is on top of the database table, right? So if you build procedure here or here, okay, here or here. So in the native SQL, already you are here, so no need to write any connection. Okay, I already reached this location in native SQL, so we don't need to call. But how to reach is the matter. Okay, so in this time, select will remain common here. Okay, as well as here. There is no connection concept here. But how to reach this location? At that time, while calling, we need to mention. Okay, while calling CDS view, let's assume that CDS view. Okay, so in this time, we need to mention select a star from instead of VBAK. I will mention some CDS. Okay, CDS VBAK. In this time also connection we should mention so that it will go and execute this one. Okay, if you're not mentioned here, then it will come like. Okay, similarly AMDPs. Okay, so during the calling of the AMDPs, we can mention the connection so that it will come here, it will execute. If you're not mentioned the connection, it will come in, it will execute here. That's it. Okay, maybe we'll see that, but we don't have sidecar scenario in our systems. Okay, any other system might be having. 1 second, let me try the other one. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is having a change, but maybe we may not use. Now you can see the different. Okay, when I'm writing my select query, I need to give this name HCP-BOM-Beacon, but I'm not sure what it contains. We need to get access for this one. We need to get access because with SC11 T code, okay, we can see only database objects for this particular primary database only. We cannot see that secondary database objects. Okay, if we want to see secondary database objects, we need to log into the DB level, not SAP level. Okay, through HANA Studio, so that we can see the objects. Okay. Maybe we'll see that how to see the objects in the DB level while connecting to the HANA database. Okay, so that's during the first session or second session. Okay, maybe we'll see at the time any queries from your end. We'll try to see that. Okay, we'll address on that. Your query, you got something or still have questions on that? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
Raj.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
So application application development point of view, there is no much differences in the logic. Okay, only wherever the database objects were working, at that time we need to mention the connection. In rest of the logics remains same. Okay.
Okay, Raj. Okay, Raj. Thank you.
Yeah. And any more queries? Any more queries?
How many hours it will take, Raju?
Yeah, actually, I think it would take 2 months of time, no doubt. 8 weeks.
Okay.
8 weeks are time.
Okay, in this HANA modeling, we will create the calculation views, right?
Right.
So can we see that calculation views, how to consume those calculation views like in Excel or Lumira?
Yeah, we'll see
these
Excel.
are the analytical things. So
yeah, sure.
We'll see
Excel. But Lumira, actually, I don't have component installed on my system. And Excel we can do.
Okay.
That's not an issue. We how to connect to the backend database and how to access the HANA. Yeah, that we can do. Even we can draw some of the graphs as well.
Okay, okay, Raj. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Okay, like data provisioning kind of thing.
Data provisioning, maybe we cannot do in this system. We are in the same system, right? So if you have a different system, then we can do.
But we are into decentralized.
Oh, okay.
So we have some of the systems like decentralized ones, like basically planning systems are different and then ERP systems are different.
Okay. Maybe theoretical concepts we can discuss, but I think they're not. Are they using data provisioning in HANA or external tools like BODS kind of stuff? Because
correct, they are still using like SLT and the integrations are one more thing.
If you have this sidecar scenario, actually we can do, but it is a single system, right? That's how we got. So ideal scenario,
Okay,
just we
okay,
can
okay,
connect to
got it,
the
got it.
how to replicate the sales order data from that database to this database like that.
Okay. Okay. Otherwise, like, can we take some Excel kind of thing and then pull that data into system
Yeah, that we can
like that,
upload.
like
Yeah.
just to be.
Yeah, we can create some dummy table, temporary table. We can upload the data. Yeah, that we'll see then. Okay.
Okay. And one more thing about channels, like we have push notifications based on the events and all, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's I'm trying,
basically
but
from 7.5 onwards.
yeah, right. Actually I am also trying for that, but couldn't achieve message channels and push channels. Even we are working for the warehouse. Okay, so
Okay,
we
okay.
like to have utilize those, but not able to do. I'm also in trying or in doing some R&D on that. So that web sockets and everything
Okay,
not
okay, no
working
problem.
for demo systems. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. And one more thing, like performance analysis of AMDP and then CDS views. Like once we develop the CDS views and then AMDPs, like we just need to analyze the performance in the quality or regression systems, and then make sure it is not harming in the.
Actually, SAP provided tools, right, to analyze the performances and what are the recommended, not recommended. We'll try to utilize. But remaining thing is manual identification. Maybe we can see, okay, this is a big table and some conditions are missing. That we can check. So that is like visually just we are checking.
Like
Right?
in.
Yeah, yes, please.
Sometimes in the existing views we'll have to check it, right? So we have some tools in S4HANA.
We have a couple of things actually, even UPL.
So can we utilize those tools?
Yeah, that we can utilize. So
Okay.
when considering the performance of a particular program, it will not consider whether it's a ABAP logic or a native ABAP or native HANA or ABAP HANA object. It will completely take the program performance, and that time it will divide. Okay, this piece is basically taking time for this long time. Okay, this piece is taking long time like that. So it will do the piece wise. So we need to analyze further on that particular piece. Okay, maybe problem with the select or problem with the loop or something, or only particular object is taking time, particular function module or particular AMDP or particular CDS view is taking time. Maybe even writing the CDS view, if incorrectly mentioned some joins or missing some mandatory conditions, it will take huge time because it might be pulling huge data. So that we need to identify manually. Yeah.
Okay, Raj.
Yeah.
So that's it from my side.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Then, if have no queries, then we can disconnect for the day. Okay. So we'll check with Naveen. So maybe when can we start based on your availability and everything. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Ram,
much.
do you have
Okay,
any
then.
questions?
Hello. Any questions? Any questions?
Okay, Raj. So no, I'm asking Debo and Ram, like, does they have any
Okay.
questions?
Okay.
No question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Okay. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Okay. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
Bye bye.